Have you ever done a thorough analysis of your strengths and weaknesses? And maybe the opportunities and threats which are connected to it? You have probably seen this kind of matrix or management model. It's called the SWOT analysis. And during this Leadership Wednesday video, I want to go through these areas with you. We want to place a special emphasis on the strength area. First of all, because I'm a positive and optimistic person. But also the strengths are the things which you are paid for, which keeping you awake in the positive side during the night, where you can work on a task for endless hours without feeling that you're working. What I found is a lot of people are not aware what they're really good in. They have studied maybe something and then they are in the first or second job and they continuing and tracking along, maybe making even some progress and getting some promotions, but they're not really satisfied deep inside. And that has something to do because they don't know what they're really good at. And what I suggest to you is that you really sit down and make an honest inventory. What could be helpful is to have a diary, for example, for 1 or 2 weeks, and you write down every single thing what you're doing during the day. And you can maybe attach a feeling, it's good, it's bad, I like it, I don't like it. And that gives you at the end of the week quite a good overview about things you like and you don't like. It's also very helpful to take a personality test like the Myers-Briggs or the ECA investment. Yeah, that can help you to highlight some areas where you are good and maybe not so good. To get an honest feedback from your partner, from your family, from close friends can also help. And in the end, you have a pretty good range of things which you probably know, okay, I'm good in. And then you can make an assessment, let's say from 0 to 100, where you stand in each of these areas. Yeah. And you should be really honest with that and see, where do I have the potential for further growth, where I'm already at a very good level and where I'm a bit underdeveloped. There's a saying that it takes about 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert in a certain field. 10,000 hours. So I'm not really sure how many of us have really invested 10,000 hours in a skill, in a character trait, or in a profession. So press on and go on with that. What you also can do is you can evaluate after this week and can find out if you're really satisfied in the job what you're doing right now, that you have already implemented and the right amount of things you really like in order to make it a successful and fulfilling job for you. A lot of the time, we have only a limited amount of our strengths in action, in our day-to-day activities. So the question is, maybe you can change your job description. You can maybe switch it a little bit and speak with your boss about enlarging it to an area where you really feel comfortable in, where you really enjoy it, and then make a 50% job, a 60% or 70% job. And this is a positive cycle. You have a success story in your life, a good experience, the customer's happy with you, the boss is happy with you. This leads automatically to a deeper job satisfaction, and this is really connected to the rest of you, to your family life, to the relationship with your friends, with your kids and whomever in your close surroundings, because they feel that you doing something which you really enjoy. And so in the end, it's fruitful for everyone. And then you should see that you can enlarge the areas where you're good at, because that's what people paying you for. What kind of courses, what kind of continuous education can you take in order to make your signature strength? And that's maybe only 1 or 2 things, What can you do to improve it even more for the future? Because the competition is tough. People coming every year and trying to come in the place where you are right now. So you have to be 1 or 2 years ahead from the competition. And that is only possible if you become better every day in what you're doing. The second area is the weakness area. Here again, you need an honest evaluation. And you probably have to seek the help of people around you, from your team or from people of the family, and ask them, what are the things I'm not really good at? And of course, there are always areas in a job, which you don't like or less like than others. Yeah. And sometimes you cannot eliminate the weakness, but you can bring it at a neutral level. Yeah. For example, if you are a consultant and you don't like doing presentations in front of people, well, that's tough, but you have to bring it at a level where at least you can present a clear and logical argument, even you will be not a good public speaker. Yeah. So level it up to a certain extent, and then looking for help from your team to compensate for your weakness. Yeah. Make sure that you're operating in an area of strengths and getting help or improve yourself to at least a neutral level. What I'm really against is a lot of people telling you to become better and better and work on your weaknesses. I don't think that is correct. You have to level them up to a neutral level, but invest the time and your energy and your money and education into your strengths. Because people don't pay for an average level, they pay for an exceptional level. So become exceptional with your strengths. The next one is the opportunities. Opportunities are the situations in your life, in your surroundings, in your public life or private life where you can practice your strengths areas. This is a very important thing. You have to look for active opportunities to push your strengths further. If you would have told me 1 year ago that I'm doing weekly videos on LinkedIn, I would laugh about you. That was something what I just did not think it's feasible. But today I enjoy it very much. Yeah. So I pushed myself and just tried it out. It worked, and I tried to become better also. Yeah. I took the opportunity and went for it. Yeah. That's something what you should do also. Not only in your business. Sometimes you cannot live your strengths in your business. For example, if you're an accountant and you love to sing, it's very unlikely that you become a singing accountant. Yeah, so you have to live your area in a different role. For example, in your private time, in your free time, and get some education on your voice and some practice in the choir or singing opera or whatever. Yeah, and maybe this leads to a next opportunity, and sooner or later you can make your strengths, your signature gift, the singing, to a full-time employment. Yeah, but it requires some practice and that you're taking hold of opportunities which you have. It's also a safe spot to practice and to test out the ground if this is good enough. Yeah, so if you want to become a public speaker as a profession or for earning money, then it's maybe good to start in a local society, in a club with the Toastmasters, in order to see if people like what you're doing. And then the chances that people are willing to pay for it are much higher than if you're going from 0 to 100, quitting your job, become a professional speaker, and then in the end realize that nobody wants to book you. Okay? And then the threat is that your skills becoming outdated. Yeah, that is probably the greatest threat what is happening today. In most of our societies, it's the game is pretty safe. You can do something and you can fail and then you can start again. But when your skills are outdated, then you sooner or later become obsolete, or somebody else takes your job or overtakes you, and you're getting a lesser job maybe, or have lost the job at all. Yeah, so you have to stay on the top of your industry and try to do something meaningful in order to enrich yourself and your position, to enlarge your skills and your strengths even more. I hope that was a bit helpful. If you want to have some question answered, please leave them below or direct message me. Thank you very much for listening. I see you back next week.